Item 10B, receive a report providing an update on the city's year-long Centennial celebration and budget status. Carrie Burns.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. I'm going to take just a second to switch out the slideshow. Thank you.
Carrie, you want to pull that chair a little bit closer to you?
Yes.
There you go. Perfect.
Fantastic. So good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. It's my pleasure this evening to provide the Council with an update on the city's Centennial activities and programs that have yet to be delivered. As the Council is aware, over 4 years ago, you began preparing for this year-long celebration with an annual appropriation in the budget process to create some seed money for the programming. Most recently, in February, the City Council approved a long list of projects to deliver Centennial events and programs to the community and appointed the Mayor and the Vice Mayor as the City Council subcommittee for the Centennial events. What I'd like to focus on this evening is an overview of the programs that have been delivered thus far, give you a little bit of background about how the community has received those, and then talk about two very special events that have yet to be delivered. So as the Council is aware, on December 23rd, 2014, San Bruno will be celebrating its 100 years of incorporation. And in preparation for that, we've developed a website, a Centennial logo and slogan, 100 Years of Progress. And as people who drive up and down San Mateo Avenue and Genevan have noticed, we have Centennial banners, some of which are reflected in the slideshow behind me, as well as pictorial displays in the library and at City Hall, lapel pins, I think, which many of us are displaying this evening, and there is, of course, memorabilia with the Centennial logo and slogan available for purchase. One of the important things that we wanted to focus on this year was taking existing events and giving them a bit of a Centennial flair. So many of the photos that you're seeing behind me demonstrate that. For example, the 2013 tree lighting event in December was the kickoff of the Centennial, and that event included snow or faux snow, actors in period costume, and special refreshments. And the event was enjoyed by more than 300 children and adults. Following on that was the annual pancake breakfast and Easter egg hunt that had a very robust turnout of more than 500 people. We had special craft projects and an Easter egg hunt with special collection bags with the Centennial logo on it, as well as expanded programming. Following then on the heels of that, and through partnership with the Beautification Task Force, Operation Clean Sweep kicked off its Centennial tree planting with the objective of planting 100 street trees on various locations throughout the city on homeowners' property, or I guess on the city's right-of-way in front of homeowners' property. And then last but not least, with regard to the standard events that we have throughout the year, this year's Posey Parade included a city float that had photographs of past and present Posey Parade photographs on it. We also wanted to include cultural events in this year's year-long celebration. And in partnership with the San Mateo County Historical Association and Museum, in August we delivered a history walk, and then before that we offered an architectural walk earlier in the year. We also took advantage of children's interest in the Centennial to create some Centennial opportunities for kids to understand their community better by delivering a scavenger hunt and including in the after-school adventures program, the summer camp, and the summer reading program, various art and reading programs related to the Centennial. So we've tried to include all members of our community in the celebration. Two capstone events, which I'd like to talk about a little bit, have yet to be delivered. And on September 27th, City Park will be transformed into a Centennial Carnival with field games and carnival games, rides, entertainment, and food. and a committee comprised of the vice mayor, members of the Park and Recreation Commission, and community volunteers have been working diligently for the last several months, developing the schedule of events and the wide array of opportunities that the community will have to come out to the mostly free of charge event to celebrate their city's centennial. The event begins at 10:30 a.m. again on Saturday, September 27th in City Park, and we'll have very brief initial ceremony and then rides and food and games. The pool will be open for everyone's enjoyment, and then at 3:30 that afternoon we'll sing happy birthday and have centennial cupcakes, and there will be the dedication of the centennial time capsule. We will also then on December 6th will be the Centennial Gala at Skyline College, and the elements of that program are still in the development stage. We expect that it will be a very special evening with dancing and a special centennial gift for all that are in attendance. We're trying to determine the price point on that, and it's looking as though it could be in the range of $100 per ticket. But more work is yet to be done to really work out the details. As I mentioned earlier, the City Council 4 years ago began focusing on the Centennial by appropriating $10,000 a year for program activities. And so over the course of 4 years, there was $40,000 set aside. And then there was a very, very generous contribution from Artichoke Joe's, $53,000, $50,000 of which was for general centennial activities and $3,000 for specific children's competition to recognize the centennial. Also briefly like to tell you about what the budget looks like for the centennial activities. In total, we have $100,500 in revenue, which is comprised of the city budget set aside, the contribution from Artichoke Joe's, and then contributions that the business community and local churches and educational institutions have donated through their sponsorship of either the community carnival or the gala. The total budget at this point for the year-long activities is $99,150. I'm happy to say slightly less than the revenue number. And there are two expenses in particular that I'd like to point out, and those are the budget for the Community Day in the Park or the Centennial Carnival of $25,000, and then an appropriation of $35,000 for the gala. That concludes my overview. I would be happy to give you a whole bunch more details, but want to give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you have. The photos that I have behind me were photos that were taken at the various events that have been delivered so far this year, and I hope you enjoy them as much as the people who were in attendance seem to. Thank you.
Great. Any questions for Carrie at this time? I know you put an awful lot of effort into this as staff, and I know the Vice Mayor has put a lot of effort into the big day in the park, so we're looking forward to both events. Should be a lot of fun. Ken, did you have something?
I wanted to jump to the Centennial Gala, but I didn't want to overlook the Community Day in the Park. What could you, I mean, do you want to make it a surprise, or do you want to give us an idea of what the community can expect when we come into the park? I mean, obviously, in the weekend, the park is very full, with patrons coming in, families, and so I'm assuming that's not going to happen this time.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any further questions?
So, I mean, short of that, then, if that's the case, is there anything more you can tell us about the gala?
I'm pausing on the carnival to see if perhaps the Vice Mayor would like to make some remarks.
Well, I think Jim already took care of that answer for you. No. The committee has been meeting each Thursday now up to it, and we will be this Thursday having our next subcommittee meeting, and we will be finalizing the itinerary and activities and entertainment. So that will be ready to go and advertised by early next week. As far as the parking, you are correct. We have an expectation of a good crowd. Therefore, St. Robert's and St. Andrews have allowed their parking for that day. Staff has already taken the initiative to make sure that the senior center is not reserved that day, so the parking is available here. Even St. Andrews parking lot and the dirt lot that they have next to the property they are going to take care of and allow us to park that day. So we think with the park also, I think with the exception of one site, the park is also reserved that day. So we are hoping that it is a full community event, even with the street being closed during the duration so that people can enjoy each other's company and feel free to move around the park and enjoy. There was also one thing I would just like to add is that there is, thanks to the Rotary, working on the time capsule. And so a letter has gone out for items that will be presented at the Community Day in the park, and then a time capsule, we believe maybe at City Hall, will be sealed up, and we'll have to come up with a date in which I don't think I'll be around to see it open. But I saw the one out here for the Senior Center in 1987, but we enclosed that. So hopefully that answers a little bit more of your question on that. It will be coming back through the event special permit process. Staff will be bringing back to the council for consideration for that.
Great.
Just to follow up on the heels of what the Vice Mayor was adding, just to be very specific, in 2 weeks at your next meeting, we will be bringing back an item to close City Parkway. And probably within the next couple of days, a letter will go out to the affected neighborhoods so that they understand that this will be brought forward to the council for its consideration so that they're not surprised. I was remiss in mentioning two other important projects during the Centennial. These are permanent projects that will live beyond the year-long celebration. The first is an action that the Council on the Culture and Arts Commission have taken, which is to install a Centennial mosaic mural at Posey Park, and we're expecting that installation later this year. And then as part of the Community Day in the Park, or the Centennial Carnival, there will be a tile painting project where we'll have templates of the Centennial logo, the Centennial slogan, and the number 100 that children and adults can paint on a 4x4-inch tile, as well as other remarks, appropriate remarks that they would want to put on the tile. And we're not yet sure where the installation in the City Park Recreation Center general area will be. It really depends how many we have. But once we know that, we'll determine the best installation location. But there'll be a place where people can design their own Centennial tile. And then last but not least, the La Peninsula Journal. The San Mateo County Historical Association and Museum invited the city of San Bruno earlier this year to work with the association to prepare a special Centennial Tribute Journal. The association releases 4 publications annually, and they have reserved one of their publications just for San Bruno. And so within the next 2 to 3 weeks, in everyone's mailbox, they will receive a copy of the La Peninsula Journal, which will be San Bruno specific history and highlights of the Centennial.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions? Good report. Keep up the good work. Thank you.